Anyway, so today I want to talk to two moms, and not really just to moms, but to all of us in general as a community. My message is called Honoring the Broken and the Beautiful. So we're gathering today. It's Mother's Day. We want to celebrate that, but I also want to take a moment to reflect on the importance of honoring moms, of honoring mothers, not just as a cultural tradition, but as a responsibility that has been entrusted to us by God. Okay, God has asked us to do this. It's now a charge, a command, a directive that He has given to us to honor moms. I sometimes think in our country this word is hard for us, or challenging, or we don't talk about it a lot, or we don't offer it a lot. I feel like honoring is a specific responsibility. And it's a responsibility that helps you as well, the person giving the honor. So I even said today, I came today on Mother's Day to honor God, because He's blessed me as a mom. So I want to come now on this day and give honor to God, who's blessed me with this wonderful fruit of children. Not everybody has that. So that's why I said I would like to be here today. The other thing I want to say is that I'm not just talking about the pretty moms, the moms who are always there, the moms who baked cookies, okay? I'm talking about the messy moms, maybe the broken moms, the absent moms, okay? Doesn't matter what the mom looks like. Doesn't have to be the Hallmark mom. I was even trying to think of today of a TV show that you might refer to as who would be a good mom? Like in our society today, who would project a good mom on TV? Like, so when I grew up, we had the Waltons, we had Little House on the Prairie.
Reba.
Oh.
Well,
the show. Yeah. The show.
That's a great mom.
She's a great mom. Yeah. The show Reba.
Yeah.
Right, because she's single, divorced, trying to raise her kids. That's a good example.
Works too much.
She works too much, yeah. So we don't even have a lot of role models anymore, is kind of what I'm saying, to look at, to model after what a mom might look like. So some of us didn't get the book, and how that goes and what that looks like. But I want to talk about being obedient to God today. Being obedient to God, to His Word. I think it's significant, and I think it includes respect and honoring a position more than a person. So can we go to my verse? I'm going to look at Ephesians 6:2-3. It says, honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment. It's the very first commandment. It's the very first commandment. It's the first commandment. And it comes with a promise, so that it may go well with you, that you may enjoy long life on the earth. Or some translations say in the land. It's the very first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you, and that you may have long life on the earth. And so a couple of things that I think about when I think about what He's asking us to do here is this is for our benefit. First off, I want to say we're talking about a spiritual reality and an earthly reality. Okay? Honoring your mother is a spiritual responsibility that changes your physical presence here on the earth. It actually affects the physical when you honor in the spiritual. I don't know if I'm making sense to you, but what you do up here now affects you down here. Okay, so He's talking about honoring up here. This is what He's asking us to do. And it will now go well with you here on the earth. So what does that kind of mean, it'll go well with you? So what I take from it is, and from what the translations say, means you'll live in health. You'll have physical health. It will go well with you. When He says well, He's talking about all-encompassing everything about you. It will go well with you. And I know some of you all are thinking, you don't know my mom. She's not worth honoring. Listen, we're going to get there. Okay, I'm going to help you get there for some of you. And some of you are like, my mom is so sweet. She's the best mama. I love my mama. I miss my mama. She's not here no more. I ain't talking to you. You already got it. Yeah, she's going home. She needs to sit down. I'm talking to people who have a challenge with this verse and their parents and their moms. Because God is asking you to do something in the spiritual that now affects the physical. Okay? And we as Christians, we live in the spiritual realm. We're bringing heaven to earth. Okay? We live in this kingdom up here that affects this kingdom down here. So we want to honor. It means your physical health. It means you'll have peace of mind. No turmoil, no chaos. When you're bitter and resentful, your mind is challenging and tormenting. So he's saying if you honor your mom in that position, it will go well with you. You'll have peace of mind. You'll have prosperity in your home. I'm telling you how to break a general curse right now. This is how you break generational curses right now, is you will be obedient to the Word of God. I feel like this is such a heavy word I've never said, but this is the one he gave me. So here we are. And it might just be for me, because I'm going to tell you about my mom in a minute. But it will go well for you in your home. It'll go well for you with your children. Okay? I want it to go well with my children. If nothing else, I want to be a good mom, and I want it to go well with my children. And if this is part of the thing I got to do to make it go well with my children, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be obedient to God because I want it to go well with my family. Oh, it's gone with my family in the past. I don't want that. I want it to be different. So this is one of the ways we can make it different is by honoring our mother. So and not even just your mom, even your wife, the mother of your children. How do you treat her? How do you honor her? Okay, because we want it to go well in our homes. So I want you to honor mothers, that position. And there's a whole study, but I'm not doing all that right now, about the meaning of the woman and who she is and how she contributes to our community and our society and our whole world. And it's just a very beautiful thing that women bring to the table that I think a lot of people in the past, even Christians and Jews, have missed the whole purpose of the woman. But it will go well with you even in your work. Because when God says it will go well with you, he means every area of your life. It will go well. And you will live long in the land. So we want it to go well. To honor is not based on how we feel about our mother in any given moment, but rather on the charge that's been given to us as sons and daughters, and to operate in integrity. To operate in integrity as sons and daughters. I have a couple of things. So I'm going to tell you about my mom here in a minute, but the first time that I realized that I had a part in this relationship with my mom was when I went to a 12-step retreat. And somebody had said to me they were working on their 8th step, making that list. And he said, I'm trying to be a better son today to my mom. And I was like, what? Like, seriously, you guys, it was like Jahari's window. I could not understand what he was saying hardly, or to see that I had some part to play in this relationship. I thought my relationship with my mom had always been based on who she was and how she responded and reacted towards me. And that I was this way because of her. And now he's saying, when you get in front of God, he's going to ask you, what kind of daughter were you? What kind of daughter was I? And I was like, oh, wow, I was not a good daughter. Like, I know what a good daughter is. Do you mean I kind of know what it looks like or supposed to be? Do you mean, but I was not a good daughter. And I was just like floored by that. It just blew me away that I had a responsibility in this also. Now as a grown woman, do you know what I mean? To be a daughter of honor and integrity, separate from who she was. Do you mean take her away from the equation? What kind of daughter am I? So I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know that I had a part to play, that I could be different. You know what I mean? I didn't have to be based on who she was. That I could still be a good daughter anyway. And I feel like sometimes if we would get this, even when people are going through a divorce, you still have to be good to the woman. You have to be good to the woman. That's the mother of your child. So separate from her and what she's done, you were to be a good partner. You're to be a good father. And to be a good father means to honor the mother. Honor your child's mother. How is your child going to learn about honor if you're not doing it. Right? They're not going to get it. And then you're just creating more problems again, all over. Here we go to the next generation of chaos and confusion, and just things being a mess. So my mom and her, let me tell you a little bit about her struggles. So my mom, was, I grew up like in the 60s and 70s. I was really little in the 60s, a lot of the 70s. And I tell you this because you kind of got to know the time period also in the culture of what was happening. Sex, drugs, rock and roll was huge. And it was a big deal. So my mom didn't really go so much with drugs, and she thought rock and roll was from the devil, but she did enjoy the sex part. My mom was bold, loud, aggressive, and inappropriate. That's who she was. She was diagnosed with, you might think I'm disrespecting her. I'm giving you context because we're going to get to the good part in a minute. She was diagnosed as manic depressive back in the day. I've been working around this field with mental health and substance use disorder long enough to know that she probably should have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. That's probably more like what she had, knowing today. And it just wasn't a term that they used back then or even a diagnosis, or rarely used. So she was alcoholic also. She was a single parent. I had 6 dads by the time my mom was like 42, and I had lots of uncles. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. This was the life that she lived. She was a barmaid, so she worked at night. Okay? So she was never home, or if she was, when I came home from school, she was just getting up and going to work. And that's just the life that my mom lived. So she had many struggles. And because of that, it caused me to have many problems. I had never gotten along with my mother from the time I was born. We have had a rift between us, always. And like I said, she didn't really care for me, and as a result, I didn't care for her. She would tell me things like, Reba, you're so sick, you're so sweet, you make me sick. You're so sweet, you make me sick. So I would think, I gotta be meaner. I've mastered that, thank you. Today, these are people telling me I'm mean. See? I've mastered it. But you know what I mean? And I would try to please her, and the more I did it, the worse it made it. It felt like. I was around a lot of people who drank all the time. People were always driving me home drunk. I grew up in Florida. Do you know where the bar is in Florida? Everywhere. But it's not the pool or the beach. So, you would think so she would take us with her when she had her day off to drink because we could swim. You can swim at the pool or swim at the beach. The challenge with that is that I would end up with anxiety because somebody's got to drive me home and they're going to be drunk. Do you know what I mean? And it was terrifying for me as a child growing up. And I used to be quieter and all of that. So it just always caused a challenge and a rift. So I didn't really get along with her very, very well at all. However, when I was 14, my mom got sober. Yeah, she got sober. Right? Yes. My mom got sober. And she became really, really big in Alcoholics Anonymous. It was one of the old-timers eventually. My mom died at 81 with 40 years staying sober.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right? She went back to school and got her degree. Went back again, got a master's degree. Right? That's my mom. Right? Even if you don't get along, you have to look for things. So the funny thing is that she worked in this field that I worked in. She worked in the treatment center. She was a therapist. And all her girls, they'd be like, oh my God, we love your mom. She's so great. You're so lucky to have her for your mom. I was still using it at the time. But she started turning her life around. But it didn't take away the rift. You know what I mean? It was still kind of there. My mom is very self-involved and self-absorbed. Most alcoholics are, right? Amen. a lot of that didn't go away. So when I told you when I got clean and I started hearing about I needed to be a good daughter, I was like, oh wow. Like I just was like, wow. Like this is something, a concept I never even thought of, that I wasn't being a good daughter. And so I really worked on trying to be a better daughter to her. So I had always wanted, I had a friend when I was like 8 years old. You know, my mom was never home hardly, or people were all there drunk. And so I had a friend, I remember this, because you have a picture in your mind of what your mom's supposed to be, what a mom is supposed to look like. So I'm telling you this. When I was in like 3rd grade, I had a best friend, and we would go to her house after school, and her mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we would come to her house, and her mom would be there, and she would have like Oreos and milk for us as a snack, you know? And her little room would be clean, and her mom had made her bed. And I just thought, you have the best mom. Like, this is amazing to me. My mom never bought Oreos. We had Milk Toast. You know what Milk Toast is? And olives. Like, I ate bar food, okay? Cherries. And orange slices. And make drinks with. Like, we didn't have Twinkies. So, you know, in my head, this is what mom is supposed to look like. And I'm here to tell you today, moms look different. And God actually said to me, when I started, you know, when I got clean and I did therapy and I had to grieve stuff and let go of stuff, why didn't somebody love me? Why wasn't somebody there for me? God said, I picked her for you. I picked her for you. That's heavy. So I had to start looking at, oh, why? Because she knew who I am today. All of that helped me become who I am today and who I need to be for y'all. That's what God does. Amen. Right? So whether I was okay with who she was and how she raised me and how she did things, it doesn't even matter. It had to be that way. Like, I have to trust God in what He's saying. He's saying, this is the life that I picked for you, as hard as it was. This is the life that I picked for you. And you need to honor her. I remember even talking in one of my social work classes, saying, I'll never honor my mother. It's never going to happen. She's not a woman of honor. I'm not giving it to somebody who doesn't deserve it. That was like back in the 90s, so before I was Christian. But do you know what I mean? Like, God has done quite an amazing work. So I'm saying, like, you want to honor your mother, and you have to look for the good, even the absent ones, because God had a plan for you, and that plan included whatever mother He gave you. That's your mom, and you have her for a reason, because He didn't make a mistake. You needed her. Even if you were adopted, do you know what I mean? For some reason, this is the life that God gave you, and this is how He's made you to become who you are for His plan and purpose. We just did plan and purpose, like the last 3 Wednesdays practically. But God has made you the way that you are because you can do something and offer something to someone that nobody else can, in a way that no one else can. Okay, so there's a plan and a purpose, and we're going to trust God with what He says. So, let me tell you about Jesus. I'm going to tell you about Jesus today. So when Jesus was on the cross, this is why we know it's important, too. When Jesus was on the cross in His final moments, He demonstrated this principle. He hung on the cross, suffering in agony, but He did not overlook His mother's well-being. Right? His mom was there when He was dying on the cross with the disciple He loved, John, His disciple. And Jesus asked John to take care of his mom, right? Please look after her. So despite his unimaginable pain and all that he was enduring, he still remembered to take time to make sure that his mom was cared for by giving her to John. So I feel like, and that, if he can do it in that circumstance, you know what I mean, we can all do it. We can all learn how to honor and take care of our parents. I tell the story of Joyce Myers. You guys know who she is. She's an author and a Bible teacher and evangelist. She was sexually abused till she was 18 years old and moved out of her house by her father. I'm not telling secrets. She tells it all the time. Has books on it. How she overcame this. When her parents were getting elderly, she took care of them, bought them homes, to live in and had people come take care of them, even though he had abused her whole growing up life. All the while, her mom knew also that this was happening to her. And she took care of her mother as well. She sometimes says it was almost harder for her to take care of her mom because her mom, you think your mom should have rescued you, should have protected you and saved you if she knew it was happening. But in his very last dying days, her father got baptized by her. She baptized her father, and he accepted Christ. And so I'm always like, if she can do it, we can all do this, if you have a challenging mom. But I feel like he also paved the way for our spiritual family. Do you mean? Because now we have spiritual families. That's why I said, Lynette is my sister in Christ. Yes, she's my spiritual family now. Do you mean? This kind of paved the way for us to now realize we are a community of believers, and we're now your family. Because I do realize that sometimes moms are toxic and moms are harmful. I understand that you can't be around them all the time. I went years without being around my mom because I had to get better, and she was getting better. I did go to her on her last days. I went down twice when she was passing away. That year, the year that she was really sick, she lived in Florida still, so I went down when she was in the hospital. And then she went to hospice care, and then I went back down and went to her funeral. And it's hard for me to describe even all that happened with my mom, but my older sister didn't come to the service. And that's what she needed to do for her. She wouldn't even call her mom, she called her Patty. Her kids called my mom Patty. So you have to do what you got to do to take care of yourself, to be healthy. All the while, you can still be a daughter or son of integrity and honor. Do you mean? So we're talking about you're a part of it. So the last thing I want to talk about is, I looked at Proverbs 31. So I want to talk about moms for a minute. Not just your mom, but if you are a mom also, to say that this word has came to me all week. She is clothed with dignity and strength. She is clothed with dignity and strength. This is the Proverbs 31 woman, what Proverbs 31 talks about. She is clothed with dignity and strength. So being clothed with strength and dignity means living a life rooted in faith, wisdom, and grace. It's about carrying oneself with confidence, knowing that true beauty comes from within, a heart that honors God and reflects His love. I want to be a woman of dignity and strength. And one of the things that I want is I want it to go well for me, and I want it to go well for my children. One of the reasons that I knew that I had to work it out with my mom, I knew I had to work it out with my mom, or it wasn't going to go well for me and my daughters. We're talking about from the spiritual realm to the physical realm. It would just continue, right? I want to have I had enough wisdom to know that if I don't have a good relationship with my mom, I'm going to struggle with the relationship with my daughters. That's just the way that it goes, guys. That's just the way that it goes. You can work really hard against it, but there's something in there, do you know what I mean, that God has now made a way that I have wonderful relationships with my kids. And it's because I honor my mom now. It really is because I honor my mom that God has made a way for me to have this wonderful relationship with my kids. If you were here Wednesday, you heard one of my core values was family. So it's always been that I wanted to be a good mom and be a good mom to my kids. And as hard as that is, and I know that all of us can be in different stages of motherhood. You could be at the beginning stages, you could be in the middle, I'm more in the latter stages, me and Nyla are in the latter stages of motherhood. You could be not with your children. You could have given up children for adoption. You could have children that aren't in your care anymore. Motherhood is hard. It's hard and it's challenging and it's messy and it's dirty and it's rough and it's joyful. And I like that word that Karen used last week. It's excruciatingly beautiful. It's excruciatingly beautiful. And so for those of you who might be struggling as a mom, I want to say that, I lost my son, Jeffrey, to overdose. And he had a rough life. Had a very rough life. His childhood, him and his brother, his younger brother, Jason, one who's still out there, they had a really rough childhood, a really rough life. I was a horrible mom. And there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that to change it. Okay? The things I can do is allow God to heal me. Okay? From that. The things I can do now is be a good mom today. The things I can do now is show up when I'm supposed to. Do you know what I mean? The things I can do now is be there for my child. The things I can do now is set an example for my kids. Also, the thing is, I can also be a spiritual mom to others. That's almost my role here. Do you guys know that? I'm like, mom. You guys got it? Some of them aren't there yet. We'll get there. You stick around. And I'm going to tell you how I know that. Last Sunday, I want to read it. So this is just an example of what God does for you when you can't do it for yourself. Last Sunday, I had a text from a former resident. He's got 8 years clean, trying to be a pastor. Yeah? He says to me, he sent me a text last Sunday. I'm bragging on myself, okay? I'm going to do it. Because I love all that we do here at our recovery services, and I love our guys so much. But he sent me a text last Sunday, praying for you and your family, for your church this morning, praying for a fresh moving of the Holy Spirit. Love you, Mom.
Aww.
Right? Like, that's replacing. Keep that doubles, okay? Then Tyler Mack showed up last Sunday. Right? If you don't know, that's okay. But just him to walk in this building is a freaking miracle, okay? Walked in the building, came and sat up front and gave me a hug. You know? Brian Burglar, that dude has my heart. Aaron is my other son, right there. So God has blessed me with lots of sons. You know, there's nothing I can do about the past. There's just nothing you can do about it. But God redeems, and He restores. And He's a good Father. So I'm going to call the worship team up. And I want to just give you a couple examples of, I have a story to read, but I'm not going to have time. I just want to give you an example of a woman and a mom of strength and dignity. And strength and dignity means strength in faith, strength in character. We have perseverance. We have dignity in our conduct. And I know sometimes these aren't words that we use all the time in our language now, but they're important words to me, words like dignity and integrity and honor. These are the way that I want to conduct myself so that I can be a light to others, and that I can honor God for saving my life. So the least I can do is be a woman of strength and dignity and honor Him. So dignity means dignity in relationships. You know, that I take time and I conduct myself appropriately in relationships. I have strength in serving others, strength in facing the future. So a woman who embraces change and uncertainty with faith, knowing that God is in control, is a woman of dignity and strength. So let me ask you guys to stand. So we know in life that moms don't always look like we think they should. But God has made a way. And He selected your mother specifically for you. Selected my mother for me. And so through God and His wisdom, we want to offer grace and dignity to our homes today. So I pray that God bless you, that God keep you, that He make His face to shine upon you. Can you start our video, please? That He is all around you, that you are in His presence, that He has you, that any generational curses are broken because of the blood of the cross. Because of the blood of the cross. It is a new day, a fresh start. So no matter where you are in your journey, as a woman or a mom, know that God has you and He has a plan. And He is strengthening you. And He is providing a way for you. That He loves you. So I just want to say, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.